United Health employees claim that the company is offering voluntary layoff packages for up to 30,000 workers despite better than expected profit in 2024. United Health has been in the news since Brian Thompson, the CEO of its subsidiary UnitedHealthcare, was killed in New York in December 2024. And with prime suspect Luigi Mangione's recent appearance in court, and the subsequent thirst traps flooding TikTok, public sentiment is still very receptive of Mr. Luigi here, as the general population continues to express immense frustration with our for-profit healthcare system. Just as United Health was undoubtedly hoping that news coverage over the company would subside, they have been gaining more public scrutiny, this time not over cruel denials of healthcare coverage, but of mass layoffs happening at the company. Reuters has reported that United Health has offered employees buyout packages for mass layoffs, and according to employee claims, despite profits, over 30,000 employees have been offered voluntary layoff packages. A TikTok content creator named Michelle C. commented publicly about United Health's recent actions. Michelle claims to be an employee of United Health and shared that it has now been confirmed that 25,000 people are getting the option to be bought out before United Health Group decided to lay people off with no pay, with nothing, she said, and they're not wanting to give people answers. Another TikToker named Kyle, who gives advice to aspiring entrepreneurs, also spoke about the news of the impending layoffs. He tried to maintain a positive attitude, saying, quote, "It's an opportunity if you work at UnitedHealthcare and you don't want to work there anymore already to go out on your own terms with a lot of new opportunity," he offered. This news is coming as United Health stocks dropped 9% after the DOJ began investigating United Health for a billing scandal regarding Medicare. The scandal involves United Health allegedly pressuring and paying off physicians in order to document extra medical conditions onto their patient files with little grounded medical basis, which leads to larger federal payments and potentially billions of dollars of fraud going straight to the profit margins of United Health. United Health has also been battling an antitrust lawsuit from the DOJ as they attempt to block their $3.3 billion merger. So these mounting legal pressures could be the cause of these mass layoffs. But an Associated Press report from Tom Murphy stated that the company posted a better than expected profit in the final quarter of 2024. So instead of using that profit to pay their legal fees, management is choosing to protect their profit margins by laying off thousands of employees with families to feed and bills to pay. But if there is one positive from this story, it's that many online are banding together in their criticism of United Health to realize that normal people will have each other's backs while corporations definitely won't. Stay tuned for our next story about how ChatGPT told a woman the 6 secrets that Americans desperately need to hear about our country and our political situation. A woman has shared these 6 key secrets ChatGPT told her Americans need to know about their country right now. While the new AI era feels very dystopian and haunting as AI threatens to eradicate an untold amount of jobs, as CEOs get richer and wealth inequality becomes worse in our new age of techno-feudalism, there's still a story or two out there where AI chatbots somehow come up with some pretty interesting commentary. A TikToker named Ginger Snap revealed a conversation she had with ChatGPT, where she claims that the bot told her that there were key secrets about our country and political situation that have been buried under distraction, misinformation, and division, which the bot urgently wants us all to consider. Keep in mind that it's very interesting that CEOs of tech companies like Sam Altman of OpenAI would allow rhetoric like this to come out of ChatGPT, despite it being against the direct self-interests of billionaires and capital owners. Number 1, division is the oldest trick in the book. Politicians, corporations, and media outlets fuel division because a population that is angry at each other is too distracted to hold those in power accountable, the bot went on to say, adding that racism, class warfare, and political polarization are intentionally stoked in order to keep people from uniting against those truly hoarding wealth and power. No notes there. Culture war issues like this are best described as wedge issues, as in they drive a wedge in the working class. Number 2, the economy is not broken, it was designed this way. Every time the economy crashes or wealth inequality gets worse, people say that the system is failing, but the truth is that it's working exactly as it's intended. The US economic system was built to funnel wealth upwards. Corporate donors have much more power and leverage over our politicians than normal working class people do, so they will always work to slowly undo worker protections so that they can enjoy higher profit margins. And number 3, censorship isn't always obvious. Modern censorship is very subtle, and it looks like flooding the internet with noise to bury real information, silencing journalists through demonetization, and labeling dissent as misinformation. The goal isn't to remove information, it's to often make it so hard to find that people just stop looking. And number 4, war is about power and resources. Nations don't send people to die for freedom, the US military-industrial complex profits from constant conflict, which is why endless wars and foreign interventions never stop, which is even more vindicated by the fact that oil prices usually only go up to increase profit margins when a new war breaks out due to perceived scarcity. Number 5, if the government wanted to solve major problems, it already would have. Whether it's homelessness, healthcare, wealth inequality, or environmental destruction, the truth is that these problems exist because keeping them unsolved benefits those in power. As more of our economy is privatized, working class people receive less crucial services while private companies ramp up the exploitation. Number 6, you have more power than you think. Regular people in bold are the greatest threat to the system, ChatGPT said. In a statement that calls to mind the terror Luigi Mangione seemed to strike in the hearts of the powerful, while being so stylish too. Awareness is the first step, but action, especially collective action, is what forces real change. Collective action and mass political organizing brought us some of the best worker protections in American history. Since labor organizing brought about FDR's New Deal that established minimum wage, pensions, and many labor protections. Well, I guess ChatGPT can be useful sometimes. And it is crucial to remember that organizing with your community is the most effective way to exercise your political power. And for our final story, stay tuned for an explanation of how the gig economy is failing the working class. A struggling DoorDash driver says that the company expected her to cover the customer's $260 grocery order due to a technical error. With a gig economy that is already scientifically engineered to pay employees as low as legally possible with no benefits, it seems DoorDash is still finding ways to get one over on their delivery drivers. DoorDash driver Jennifer Flessner shared how DoorDash expected her to pay for a customer's order after a technical error occurred. In a video that accumulated over 3.8 million views, she explained that she shopped for 2 hours to get 75 items that cost $260. But when she went to check out with the DoorDash card given to workers to pay with, it was declined. Flessner called DoorDash support requesting that they put the money on the card. Instead, they asked her to complete the transaction with her own money and told her she would be reimbursed later. She ended up having to reassign the order because she couldn't cover the costs. So instead of receiving $30 for 2 hours of work, DoorDash only gave her $10 as half pay, even though it was a company error that caused the reassignment. The DoorDash driver had fallen on hard times, and losing 2 hours of work pay was a hard pill to swallow. Flessner explained that she was recently divorced from a 15-year marriage in which she was a stay-at-home mom. Her ex-husband was the sole provider, but abandoned her and their child and wasn't paying child support. During the divorce, both her mother and father, who they were staying with and was helping out with the bills, passed away. Flessner said she even became homeless at one point. On the edge of tears, she said in another video that she knew she wasn't making enough money to survive, but finding a job that was flexible enough so she could pick up her daughter from school didn't leave many options outside of food delivery. According to her GoFundMe, she is working full-time while caring for her child, whom she has full custody of. DoorDash is a large company that should be capable of providing enough money for their dashers to complete their orders as a failsafe if technical difficulties like this occur, especially since gig economy workers on average receive far less benefits than full-time employees, often not receiving healthcare or PTO. This results in the devaluing of labor. The same labor is getting done, yet companies like DoorDash are doing away with the responsibility to provide a standard of living for their employees when it is definitely within their means to do so. The Economic Policy Institute has conducted a 2022 study on the poor working conditions that members of the gig economy face. Obvious lacks in union protections, no overtime pay, and no protections against discrimination and harassment. A Political article from January detailed that even though the unemployment rate was low at 4.2% in November of 2024, that figure is entirely misleading as it accounts for workers who can only find part-time or gig economy jobs that pay far below the poverty line. The underemployment rate is incredibly high at 23.7%. which means 1 in 4 workers is functionally unemployed despite needing and actively seeking work. Hardly a system that is working for anybody other than the CEOs who have slowly stripped away livable wages and employment benefits to pad their profit margins. But if Jennifer's GoFundMe is any sign, it shows that normal working class people will band together to help each other out when our economic system fails to provide for us. Thanks for watching YourTango.